KILR Killer Game.
Welcome, gamers, simmers, and pilots. I am the Killer Gamer, and welcome to another episode of the tour around the world, part of the world, United States, Western Europe. You have to use our imagination for everything else. But anyway, it is propilot 99. Okay. The sky is getting darker. So let's go ahead and talk about where we're going to go before it gets too dark. We got our handy-duty SubLogic map right here. And we're sitting at Chicago Midway. And we're going to be going to Joliet Park District. We mentioned that about a couple flights ago that we were... it was directing us to the when we were going to Lansing from Aurora. The flight plan took us to Joliet and took us to Lansing, and I mentioned that, well, we're not landing at Joliet Park. We'd be doing that later. Well, this is that time. But if you follow along with the other simulators in the series, you would know that we're making one special stop right before Joliet. And that's going to be back at Meigs. We're going to do a touch and go. And then we're going to head off to Joliet Park District. And considering that we've been having a decent experience flying an aircraft and getting it slowed down to land, and, you know, not it zooming in like a Concorde or something, we should be okay as far as the touch and go. So this is where we'll crash or something. But anyway, so what I'm going to do with our flight plan is I'm going to set it up so that way we go to O'Hare, and then Meigs, and then Joliet Park. And we'll use ATC. That's another thing. I think we found our sweet spot with the ATC. Instead of letting it direct us around the airport, we will go ahead and direct ourselves to the runway they want us to land at, if it happens to be in our path. If not, we'll let them direct us around, and then we'll land. We'll be proactive, and hopefully ATC will be like, all right, go in. Because that's what they did on this last flight that we did, and that was kind of nice. So if that happens to be a recurring thing and works, we'll do ATC on every flight. That way it's just not dead quiet. But then again, you might prefer dead quiet, so I don't know. Yep, I don't know. You may prefer the quiet, to use this as a ASMR. That would be hard to do with my voice. I can try to be relaxing. And I can grab myself a book and say, look at this book. Doesn't this book just sound so good? Yeah, just open it up, flip through the pages, listen to it on the other ear. Yeah. Yeah, it's a good book. Anyway. Let's go ahead and set our flight plan. Oh, speaking of which, remember I was telling you I couldn't find that option to turn off being moved to the runway they want us to take off from. I found it. It's under ATC Communications. It's right down here. Auto taxi to runway. Uncheck this and you won't be automatically moved to the runway. That'll help give you some realism so you can taxi yourself. If you don't want to be bothered by that, and quite frankly, with ProPilot and ProPilot USA, you're not going to want to bother getting taxied. Let it just take you to the runway, because there's no taxiways anyway. Oh, that's right. We need to create our flight plan. That would be good. IFR. I usually set it around 2,500 feet because it takes us higher anyway. We are going from Midway to KJOT, Joliet Park District. Well, that's an interesting path. I'm not sure I want to do that. Okay. This is where we'll click on this add fix. We're going to click on Chicago. There we go. And then we'll click on Meigs. And Lewis? Maybe? I don't know. Probably not. I want to be able to get rid of this Joliet. This. I haven't figured out how to get rid of that. Well, there's remove. Oh, yes, it worked. Good. Good. That's good. What about intersections here? Okay, there's an intersection here. There we go. So we got our way around here. Ooh. Can we add this? Nope, it's going to take us back around. I don't want that. I think what we need to do, in order to get this in order, let's move back to here. And then I think if we add layered... Yeah, there we go. All right, so we're figuring out how to work this as far as adding waypoints. You select the waypoint here, which is like highlighting the waypoint, and then the next waypoint you enter will be after that. And then deleting it is just as easy. There's our flight log, flight plan, whatever you want to call it. Bojack. Mr. Bojack. Mr. Bojack. And look what it did. It threw us at the runway anyway. Even though we turned it off. Let's make sure. It's off. Auto taxi to runway. It's off. It moved us anyway. Oh boy. Alright, let's go ahead and turn everything on.
Airport information, whiskey, time 0156, Zulu weather, wind 50.
Let's pull out the cow flaps.
10, sky clear.
There
Temperature
goes.
10.6, altimeter 2, 9er 1. Landing and departing runway 4 right. Departures contact clearance delivery on 121.85. Arrivals contact approach on 118.
Try to do it the way we're supposed to.
Controller on initial contact, you have information whiskey.
Doesn't make sense to turn on lights when it doesn't illuminate anything.
0156 Zulu weather, wind 50 at 2, visibility 1.
Clearance delivery, this is Bonanza 96210 Sierra with information whiskey. Request clearance to Juliet, Oscar, Tango.
Bonanza 90621 Sierra, clear to Juliet, Oscar, Tango via radar vectors to Oscar, Romeo, Delta, Lima, Alpha, India, Romeo, Delta, Charlie, Golf, X-ray, Bravo, Oscar, Juliet, Alpha, Kilo, direct Juliet, Oscar, Tango, climb and maintain 2000, departure frequency 118.4, squawk 5456.
Climb and maintain 2000. Squawk 5456. Bonanza 21 Sierra. Bonanza Niner 6210. Request taxi for takeoff.
Bonanza Niner 6210 Sierra, taxi to runway 4, right, hold short of the active.
Taxi to runway 4, right, and hold short. Bonanza 210.
Yep, that's the one right in front of us.
Bonanza 21 Sierra, contact tower on 118.7. Good day.
Contact tower at 118.7. Bonanza 210. Good day. Tower at Bonanza Niner 6210. Holding short of 4, right.
Bonanza Niner 621 Sierra, taxi in position and hold runway 4, right.
Position and hold. Runway 4, right. Bonanza 210.
Bonanza 21 Sierra, you're cleared for takeoff, runway 4, right.
Right.
Takeoff. Runway 4, right. Bonanza 210.
Please expedite your takeoff. It's like, oh, shut up. I think we're good. And we are airborne. Wish I knew what that looked like with the hardware acceleration instead of it just being yellow all over the place. Alright, let's put our cow flaps in. Oh, we forgot to turn on our landing lights. Oops. Oopsie. Oh, jeez, that is so ugly. ProPilot USA actually looked kind of neat. I mean, not as good as
Contact departure.
Microsoft Flight Simulator,
Bonanza 210.
but
Good day.
it had decent texture for night. This is just
Departure. Bonanza
sloppy.
96210.
Bonanza Niner 621 Sierra, radar contact, proceed direct to Oscar, Romeo, Delta.
Bonanza 210.
Maybe someday we'll get 3D acceleration working. See, it cleans up a little bit when you get closer, but follow the yellow line. Follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow splotches all over the... How are we going that fast? I don't know. Couldn't turn it down. This is a little bit more of a detailed flight plan than what I did on ProPilot and ProPilot USA, because I made use of the intersections. Chicago back there. A sea of ugly yellow. Oh, I would love to see this in 3D acceleration, graphics mode, 3D FX. I haven't been able to get it to work. I've tried in Windows 7 and Windows 10 with Glide Wrapper. It's supposed to be compatible. Doesn't. Maybe it's because it's 64-bit. Maybe if I ran it in a 32-bit environment, maybe it would work. Would it work in VMware with Windows XP? It's got 3D acceleration, so maybe it would work? I don't know. I'll have to try it and see. And then there's PC Emulator.
Bonanza 210, contact center on 132.4. G'day.
Contact center 132.4, Bonanza 210. Good day.
And I've got Voodoo working there. It works on Flight Simulator 2000, thank goodness. Because the graphics are, they're not as bad as this, but they're still very annoying. And
Center,
it looks nice with the 3D FX.
6210, proceed direct to Oscar Romeo Delta.
Bonanza 9er 6210.
But even though it's there, even though DirectX sees it, propilot does not. It's supposed to automatically detect it. You put it into full screen mode, and it should just turn on. It should turn on and work. And it doesn't. I've tried Voodoo 2. That didn't work. So I got just the setting for Voodoo graphics. Nada. Now the driver that got installed is the one from Windows 98. Maybe the trick is it's got to be on Windows 95. Maybe I have to download an actual driver for Voodoo and not use the one from Windows 98. I'll run some tests on that and see if that makes a difference. Cross my fingers.
Bonanza 210, proceed direct to Lima Alpha India Romeo Delta.
Bonanza 210.
Bonanza 210, climb and maintain 4,000.
Climb and maintain 4,000. Bonanza 210.
Well, we're not going that high. Ooh, there are stars in the sky. There's a moon, too. I don't see it yet. Whoa, cowboy! Don't be turning too harshly there. We'll set it. No bouncy bounce. Let me get our autopilot set right there. 2500. So the 3D accelerated graphics would smooth all this out. I mean, you probably would definitely see a better line there. I don't know what it would do with the rest of this stuff. We will be coming back to the Chicago area, but it'll take a bit. It'll take a bit. Because we're going to be following the same flight plan that the Commodore 64, SubLogic Flight Simulator, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2 and 3, where they're going. But then they would get to La Crosse, Wisconsin. They can't go any further north because there's no coverage. There's no SubLogic coverage that way on the regular senior disc. They never made it. So those simulators will be making their way back around to Chicago at that point. For this one, we're going to be following where Flight Simulator 4 and the rest of them have gone, which is north into Wisconsin, over to Minnesota. So we'll be hitting Minneapolis, we'll be going to Duluth, and then we're kind of working our way through Michigan just a tad. And that's where we'll be following here. And then it will go up into Canada. We can only go up to about the border. And those simulators are going to keep going north, and then they're going to be working our way back down. So where they would come back into the USA, that's where this simulator and the other pro pilots will be going from that one Canadian airport over to the US airport that the other ones would come back to. And then we would be making our way back to Illinois and then down to Chicago. So it's going to be several episodes from now. But we will get back. And I'm hoping that within that time frame, we have found a solution to get the 3D graphics working. It took a bit, but I got it working with Flight Simulator 2000. The frames per second isn't smooth. But then again, back on an actual machine back then, it wasn't smooth either. I see CGX. It looks like hay. Chicago. It's covered in hay. Hey, Chicago! Should be giving us directions here soon. But, you know, maybe it's good that we're doing this without the 3D acceleration for the moment. You can see just how it looks without 3D FX Voodoo graphics. 3D acceleration. And maybe, hopefully, finally, when we are able to get...
210, proceed direct to Charlie Golf X-ray.
Bonanza 210.
Hopefully, if we're able to get that working, I can share with you what I did. And then that way, you guys, if you're looking to get into ProPilot 99, you will be able to enjoy it. Woo! Okay, autopilot off. Yo, we're climbing into the sky, and our airspeed's dropping. Not a good thing. Flaps down. Landing gear down. And I see Meigs. It's a yellow stick out of the hay. It's like right there. It's got a little red tip on it. Hey, turn on our lights. Man, the buildings aren't even lit up. I think there'll be some lights on it when we get close. Yeah, they simplified the textures on the buildings too, which I didn't like. I want to really like this simulator, but they like cut corners and made the assumption that everyone was going to have a 3D accelerated card. Oh, everyone will get those. They're not going to play it with these blocky graphics. Well, you know what? Most gamers and simmers probably would not have gone with ProPilot anyway. They would have stuck with Microsoft Flight Simulator. Why get ProPilot when you can get Microsoft Flight Simulator because it goes around the whole world? This is good as an alter... Ooh, lights! These buildings do have lights. Yay!
Bonanza 210, climb and maintain 2,500.
Climb and maintain 2,500. Bonanza 210.
We'll do that after our touch and go. Ooh, I see sparkles in the water. I don't know if it's meant to be sparkles, but that works for me. Oh, I'm using my imagination. Ooh, there's yellow stuff now. Heck, the simple graphics that are in Flight Simulator 4, especially with the SubLogic USA, West and East, looks a lot better than this. Okay, we better get our butts down there. Maybe not that far down.
Bonanza 210, climb and maintain 2,500.
Climb and maintain 2,500. Bonanza 210.
Full power. Haha, look at that.
Bonanza 210, proceed direct to Bravo, Oscar, Juliet, Alpha, Kilo.
Bonanza 210.
Nice. Pat on the back. Good job. Good job. And out of the pro pilots, that touch and go was the best one. Shame it was with ugly. Shame it was with butt ugly graphics. Oh, there we go. It's like, there's Midway, you know, kind of in the middle of all the yellow. Man, I'm surprised the stars aren't like all blocky and stuff. Alright, autopilot on. Maybe we can set our mixture too. Let's pull out the mixture here. Yeah, that looks good.
Bonanza 210. Descend and maintain 2,500.
Descend and maintain 2,500. Bonanza 210.
Oh, so now they don't want to take us to 4,000. Sure. Okay. We'll lower ourselves down a little bit. Yeah, right there. We'll meet them halfway. Didn't take long for the Chicago skyline to disappear. Turn off our lights. Don't need that. What's this stuff? Like an orange thing over there. Okay, we got Joliet tuned in. Joliet Park District's about 5 miles away, closer to us. So I'd say we've got roughly 20 miles to go. Ooh. We're losing speed here. Well, I guess the mixture is not such a good idea. We'll pull that in then. Well, we got time to go back through our manual again here. Did we go through this stuff? No. Okay, so from the starting menu, when you load up, you can choose the option from the pre-flight menu to fly in the USA, and that's going to park you over at Salt Lake City, or the European flight, which basically takes you on a different playfield, and that takes you to a French airport. Forgot what it was called. You can reinstall, which I had to do because I selected a custom install and checked everything, and when it installed, it still required the CD, and as I was flying, it would pause every 10-15 seconds. It was so game breaking. It was so annoying. I thought I was pretty much done. I had recorded a video. Didn't maybe I'll use that as a blooper reel or something, but I was complaining the whole way through. I'm like, man, these graphics suck. This animation sucks. I was not happy at all. But the solution is to install it with the complete option. Don't use custom. I usually use custom for everything, but no, use complete. That way it installs everything to the hard drive, which you'd think the custom one would, but it didn't. But complete will install everything to the hard drive, and then you don't need the CD-ROM. And you're not going to have all those pauses when you're flying. Heck, I would like look out the right window and it would like pause and then keep going. No thank you. That was utter garbage. Okay, so the pilot menu, which is right here. You got pilot in command, dual flight. Oh, we'll go into that. Ground lesson, etc. So pilot in command means that you have control over all the radios and you are responsible for maintaining the proper altitudes and headings assigned to you by air traffic control. You can select pilot in command from the mode menu to cancel dual flight mode, or you can just press F2. Co-pilot on board. Selecting this option allows you to automate many of the procedures involved in flying the aircraft. There are a number of factors the co-pilot can monitor, such as your airspeed and altitude. The co-pilot can also automatically set your nav and comm radios to the next frequency when directed to do so by ATC. Instruction. The instruction options are only available when you are flying the Cessna Skyhawk 172P or the 172R. While en route, the co-pilot will assist you in making a cross-country flight by reminding you if you stray from your assigned heading or altitude.
Bonanza 210, contact approach on 133.5, good day.
Contact approach 133.5, Bonanza 210. Good
We're
day.
not that close. If the gives flight advice box is checked, the instructor will warn you if your airspeed drops while on takeoff or final. He will also provide other alerts ranging from flat airspeed violation to improper pitch attitude during a climb.
Bonanza 96210 Sierra, proceed direct to Joliet, Oscar, Tango, then resume own navigation. Good day.
Bonanza 210, good day.
Give it a little bit of a turn here. Let's look out the windows. Bye-bye, Chicago, full of hay. Hey, 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 hey! We're going to some more splotchy-looking cities. Okay, ground lesson. Choosing this menu option allows you to access any of the 31 animated tutorials on ProPilot 99 Disc 2. Or they could have added, or they could have just removed it. And put Western Europe on a separate disc so that way we don't have this garbage in front of us. These videos are very helpful for learning about all different aspects of flight. You can browse through them as you work your way through the manual. Here's a list of the available ground lessons. Okay, so instruments, controls, communications, primary flight controls, vertical climb, straight and level flight, level off from a climb, constant altitude turn, constant airspeed descent, level off from descent, transition to slow flight turn, slow flight climb, slow flight descent, power off stall, power on stall, steep turns, normal takeoff, traffic pattern. Yeah, this one knows all about traffic patterns because it routes you around like crazy. Final approach, normal landing, wind effects, scanning the instruments, standard rate turns, straight and level on a partial panel, finding position. That'll be interesting considering, oh, that's right, I forgot, on here, where the hell's my mouse? There. This is nav 1, this is OBS 1, this is OBS 2. NDBs, tracking of ore, Chandelas? Oh, it must be a type of flight. Lazy 8s on pylons. Restart, it just loads your last loaded flight. Alt F2 will do that. There's Lewis University. Exit, well, that should be pretty obvious. If you crash, you can press escape to instantly repair the aircraft. And then the aircraft that you can select. These are the same as ProPilot when it's patched and ProPilot USA. The patch on ProPilot actually adds the aircraft, but you have to go into the INI file and insert a line in order for that to show up. So you got the Cessna 172 Skyhawk, the Cessna 172R Skyhawk. So that one adds like more gauges and stuff on there. Beechcraft V-35 Bonanza, my favorite. That's what we're flying right now. Low wing, high performance single engine aircraft. Beechcraft Baron 58. Good old twin engine aircraft going on there. The Beechcraft Super King Air B200. This is a twin engine turboprop aircraft. Its high cruising speed and increased fuel capacity allow it to cover great distances quickly and efficiently. And then the Cessna Citation Jet. And looks like we might be about 5 miles from the airport. So we will stop right there. And I see the airport right there in front of us. Right there. Go and turn off the autopilot. Gonna put our mix all the way in there. Lower thing of flaps. And we'll wait for ATIS to say something. Let's take a look at our GPS. It doesn't have an ATIS. Okay. Okay, fine. I'm just going to go ahead and direct us as far as landing. And we'll see what runway they direct us to. Landing gear down. I see it. Let's try not to ram into the ground here. I see a red something over there, but I don't think that's it. No. Still got a little bit ways to go here. There you are. There you are. So it's like it doesn't tell you that it's Unicom, but I guess if it's a Unicom airport, it's up to you to land. See, and these are little things that they don't really tell you in the book. You know, it's not going to say, oh, if you're landing at an uncontrolled airport, it's going to be up to you to pick the appropriate runway. So we got to kind of figure that out on our own. Man, those dots are big. Those are big dots, man. Oh, I didn't turn on our lights against. I always forget these. Not like it illuminates the ground or anything, but yeah, you know. Well, no one else is going to use this airport, so we're just going to sit here on the runway. Why? Because we can. That's why. Alt-P is park and brakes. We'll throw that on. And we'll go ahead and turn everything off. Okay, we're here. We're here at Joliet Park District. I think we had a decent flight. We had a nice touch and go at Meigs, and we for the most part, it was a very good air traffic controlled flight. There wasn't anything at this airport as far as telling us where to land, so and I think it's something that we're beginning to learn, to where use the ATC when you need to. So if you're not getting quite lined up at the airport, or maybe you missed it, didn't realize it, let the ATC guide you back around, and then it's up to you to land. If you get message from ATIS that says land on this runway, then just work your way around and land. So I think we're getting the hang of it. So I hope these videos are helping you out in case you'd like to join me. And if so, leave me a thumbs up. That helps me out, helps the channel, and it helps other simmers like yourself be able to find videos like this. And also subscribe and be a part of our growing community. We'd like to get that growing even more. Just let's make a huge community. That'd be just so cool. And then notification. Ring that notification bell. That's for you, so that way you'll know when the next video is uploaded. Other than that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next leg of our journey.